And so we're going to jump right in today. I'm going to be talking a little bit about what's happening with, or what the difference is between conventional and VA appraisals, so to speak. I've had a lot of situations in the past where the listing agents are extremely hesitant or just downright nasty about accepting a VA offer. So we're going to go over that in just a second. And then I'm going to be going over some interesting information about the credit bureaus and what they do once a mortgage credit is run and how you can avoid getting bombarded by phone calls. So I'll be going over that shortly here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our, pardon me, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so can everyone see my Monday morning mortgage message? Thumbs up. Okay, good. So today we're going to be going over VA, and again, I had some really nasty conversations over the years with listing agents that just would not accept VA offers. So I want to make sure you guys know what the difference is. So if you have a listing and a VA buyer comes your way, I want you to know kind of what to expect, because VA buyers are actually really some of my favorite borrowers. And the reason I like VA is because they're actually one of the easiest loans to help qualify. They are the highest performing loans of all of the loans out there, and there are veterans, so we want to take care of them. It's actually one of the easiest loans to qualify because there's no debt to income ratio requirements for the most part. We approve them on what's called residual income. So there's formulas depending on how many are in the household, but basically when all your bills are paid, as long as you have X amount of dollars left over in income, you qualify. So in some circumstances, you can have debt to income ratios up to 75 if they have a certain amount of money to live on after their mortgage and their debts are covered. So it's actually really easy to qualify. I think the biggest hangup is appraisals. So I want to show you the difference between a VA appraisal and a conventional appraisal. But for the most part, guys, it's only issues based on safety. So here's a breakdown. It has to have acceptable roofing that will last the foreseeable future. And when I say foreseeable future, that is a gauge that the appraiser takes. But as long as it's not, this roof needs to be replaced tomorrow. If it's got some issues with it and you know it's going to need to be replaced in like 6 months, that may be pointed out as far as some repairs. But that's one of the biggest things, roofs in this area, because a lot of homes are over 20, 30, 40 years. That is one of the biggest sticking points. So if you have a good roof, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. No peeling or cracking lead-based paint. That's a no-duh for FHA and VA. So working appliances, it has to have heating, cooling, and electric systems. They have to be working. It has to have sanitary sewage disposal. So if they have septic or if they have normal city sewage, that's fine. I've done homes that have cesspools, believe it or not, and that would not work for a VA loan, but that's few and far between. Clean water supply, necessary sanitary, I mean, that's most homes. Clear of any fungus, mold, dry rot, or termites. With the VA loan, the lender does see the termite report. So that's one thing. So if you have a house that doesn't have any of those issues with termites or mold or dry rot, VA is not going to be a problem. Adequate size for basic living. Any crawl space or attic must be adequately vented. So if they have it all sealed up, that could be a problem, but that's a no-brainer for a lot of different types of loans, loan programs. Access to the house from the street. Obviously, that seems like a no-brainer. Free of safety hazards. So that's the biggest one, right? Safety hazards. So what are some safety hazards that you may think are the most, I guess, important to a veteran? These are very important because if you talk to any lender, they're going to say, oh yeah, as long as this health and safety is fine, you're fine. But these are the things that are looked at. Every bedroom has to have 2 exit points. So If there's a door going into the room and there's permanent bars on the windows, that wouldn't work. You'd have to take the bars down. That type of a thing. Or if you go into the room and there's no windows, that's a problem. There needs to be 2 exit points. Address any water damage, and it says address because a lot of it can be easily fixed. And if there's no more like plumbing leaks or anything like that, no big deal. Just show that it's fixed. Make sure it has an adequate heating source. So in Prescott, sometimes the heat can be an issue. There's some homes that have like just like a small stove that are really old that heat the home. And as long as it's normal for that type of a home with that type of build structure, if it's brick or you have to prove that. But if the rooms don't have heating in it, it could be an issue. Foundational damage, guys, that's normal. But stuff that's caused by termites, that can be something that would need, it would come out in the termite report. So we'll see that. Confirm that there are CO2 or smoke detectors located in the correct areas. Address any exposed wiring. This is normal stuff. Verify the water heater is well vented and adequately secured. All of that is, for the most part, normal. Confirm stairs have railings and make sure there's no obvious damage like broken walls, holes in walls, exposed wires, broken glass, that type of stuff. So it's very similar to FHA. So there's not much you really need to be worried about if the house is clean. So if you have a VA offer and it's a fixer-upper, let's address that with maybe a different type of a loan or a rehab loan if you have a property that's a fixer-upper. But if you have a VA buyer, for the most part, most properties will work. And if there's issues, we can address them. But don't say no just because they're a veteran. I want to also show you guys this. So first off, I'm going to go back. Any questions on the chat? Any questions regarding? I'm breaking up. Well, I'm sorry, guys. If I'm breaking up, I sincerely apologize in my voice. But any other questions regarding VA appraisers? No questions? All right, perfect. So opt-out pre-screen. I want to talk about this real quick. This is actually very important. Whenever you are getting a home and you get your credit run, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they all sell data on mortgage inquiries to different mortgage companies and different sales people in the world. And I say salespeople because if you're somebody that is wanting to, if you're a roof repairman, you can buy that information knowing people are buying a house and you can start soliciting to them. Mortgage companies do this like crazy. So if you go into optoutprescreen.com and you tell your buyers to do that, they won't get bombarded with solicitations when their credit is pulled. It's a very nice way to stop that phone from just going crazy. There's a lot of desperation in this market right now. So a lot of people are buying leads like this to try to go in with super cheap just to get a deal because the competition is just crazy right now. So optoutprescreen.com, if you guys write that down, because I think that's one of the most important pieces to make sure your buyers have a sense of sanity when they're getting pre-approved. Now, we do a soft credit pull. I'm not sure if you guys know this. We do a soft credit pull for every single one of our consumers when we're doing the pre-qualification. The only negative with the soft pull from a lender's perspective is you can't run it through an automated underwriting engine with a soft credit pull. So we do a soft pull first. So there's no inquiry, doesn't hurt their credit, just to see. We'll see their credit scores. We'll see what's going on with their debts, with their payments. But if it's really close and we don't know if they'll qualify, we will have to do a full credit pull to run it through the automated systems. But optoutprescreen.com, we're telling this to all of our, whenever I do an application, I'm telling them to do this because it's annoying to get all of these solicitations. So I'm going to jump right into, I'm going to stop share right now and just jump right into rates now. So you guys are seeing what rates are doing. I was talking about interest rates and what they were doing and how inflation's getting better. And then all of a sudden we got a little bit of kick in the pants on Friday. So I'm going to kind of show you what happened on Friday. So I'm going to move all this stuff around for a second. So I look at mortgage-backed securities all day long to see what exactly is happening with the markets. And we had good news with the CPI and with the PPI. So last week we had Wednesday and Thursday were really good days. We broke through all of these layers of resistance right here. I'm going to zoom in here. All of these layers, the 200-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, all of these we broke right through on Wednesday when that CPI came up. We knew it would be good news. We thought it'd be better news. We thought it'd go way higher earlier on in the last couple of months, but I warned of that last week that it wasn't going to be as great as we thought. And then PPI came out and it went even higher. And then on Friday, we got a kick in the pants. And I say kick in the pants because we were all excited about finally inflation helping the bond market, helping mortgage rates get better. And then on Friday, the FDIC decided to sell a bunch of bonds and flood the markets with bonds and drove the price of them way down. And we just lost our shorts on Friday. So this was about Friday mid-morning. So we locked in all of our rates up here. But throughout the day, we saw a tremendous loss. And then this morning, the selling off of the bonds from the FDIC continued. So we started off lower, trying to regain some ground, but unfortunately, we lost quite a bit. It's about an 1/8 to a 1/4 in rate just in a couple days here. So frustrating, but can any of you think why on earth the FDIC would want to sell mortgage-backed securities? Anyone have a wild guess as to why the FDIC, it was an insurance side, right, for the banks, why they're selling mortgage-backed securities? They don't have any money. That's the scary part. So they're raising money, raising capital by selling off mortgage-backed securities. If you notice some of the bank bailouts, it wasn't the FDIC that paid it. It was the FDIC orchestrating another bank that had enough money to do it. So I think that's a house of cards that the FDIC has as far as how much money they really truly have. So they're going to be selling off mortgage-backed securities to raise capital. And I think this is going to have a tug of war effect on what mortgage rates will do. But it's one of those things we just have to deal with, unfortunately. And hopefully inflation coming down is going to have a larger impact on the rates than what the sell-off is going to be doing. So let's have a look at mortgage news data. I like to look at them. They have a really good just breakdown. So we went from the low 6s last week, so now we're in the mid 6s, and now we may be a little bit higher from there, but rates are still decent, guys. And I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of the, am I still sharing my screen? Yeah, I think I am. A lot of the buyers are now jumping on the bandwagon again. So really good news there. 30-year fixed.
Your screen.
It's not sharing? Okay.
No.
I knew that. I figured that was what's happening because I didn't see share screen.
There you go.
There you go. So you guys didn't see any of the bond market or anything I was talking about?
No.
Oh, good times.
Well, we saw the candlestick chart.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the mortgage numbers right now. 30-year fixed in the mid 6s. Again, this is just an average. They could be up to 7 1/4, 7.875 if they have really bad credit on conventional. So this is just a scenario like the best of the best, right? 15-year fixed up a little bit, 30-year, everything's up a little bit. Friday was a bad day. And this was based on Friday's end of the day numbers. So today's will come out, it's gonna be a little bit less than that as well because we opened up lower. So that's where interest rates are right now. I really hope that we can stop if you hear of a listing agent that's giving us a hard time because our buyers are veterans, we need to do something about it and make sure they're educated. So I had an excellent conversation with the listing agent, and he was a veteran as well, and he still didn't want a VA offer, and he was a veteran. So I'm going to send him a lot of information on why VA loans are great. and what to not be afraid of. But yeah, it's just frustrating.
Well, would a veteran be able to do a conventional and then refinance their loan into a VA, or would that even?
Potentially, yeah, potentially. If they want that home bad enough, yes. But what happens if they don't qualify, because VA qualification standards are a lot more liberal and easier to get an approval with a VA loan than it is a conventional loan.
Oh,
So,
right.
so it's tough. And then they have monthly mortgage insurance on top of that, where VA doesn't. VA is by far my favorite loan. I get no monthly mortgage insurance. If they have VA disability, the VA funding fee is waived. It's true zero down, simple to qualify. It's a great loan. So if you guys have any VA people that that are getting a little bit of a beaten up by listing agents, let's try to educate them. But other than that, don't forget that optoutprescreen.com website. I would do it for all of you, because when you're getting a car and you get a car loan and they run your credit, other car loan people will blow your phone up as well. So if you go to optoutprescreen.com, you can do it temporarily, and then you can mail in a permanent one. I recommend everybody does that. But other than that, guys, this is it. This is it for the morning. So it's Monday. It's going to be a great week. Thank you guys for everything. If you need anything, let me know, because I'm here to help any way I can. And enjoy your week. And for those mothers, I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day.
Thanks, Sean.
Anytime, guys. We'll talk to you soon. I'll stay on here a little bit longer if you guys have any specific questions. All right, guys, have a great day, and we will be in touch.